And good evening, everybody, whatever part of the world you're currently listening to my video blog. Today's nice Saturday morning, not too cold, not too warm. I figured I'd go walk to an event I'm going to be speaking at and sharing some basic information regarding my campaign and who I am as a candidate. I thought I'd take you along with me and enjoy the brief walk. So there's quite a bit of stuff going on, obviously, with the gerrymandering issue throughout the state and typical, political garbage, as always. And so I figure talk a little bit about it. So what is this redistricting issue about? Well, mainly is to have supreme authority over the population. That's what it's about. It's bringing back the monarchy into the state of Virginia. Okay, folks, having supreme control and authority over the population. Okay, folks. That's never a good thing in a constitutional republic or even the basic idea of democracy, right? But here we are, back to the garbage of redistricting, gerrymandering. If they don't get what they want, the Democrat, the redistricts, the various communities. So that's just a sad revelation of what we become as a state and country. Obviously, it's been one of those things. When people don't get what they want, they find a way to ruin things. Okay, and this is a perfect example of that. So anyway, what I'm basically going to be talking about is who I am as a candidate, why I decided to run, and what do I have to offer. So my background is heavy on economic development, as most of you guys are aware of. My passion is in capacity building, institutional development, and job creation. So that's what I've done in the last 20 years of my life, and started campaigns that have shaped markets around the world. They influence various countries in terms of my face economic social media concept. And overall trajectory of the global marketplace. Kind of strange that I'm running as a conservative, right? Because that's not the typical conservative platform. But one thing that I've learned as I travel around the world and work in various countries is that if you destabilize a country to the point that it's no longer efficient and majority of the population are disenfranchised, then there's not going to be a whole lot of development that you can do to help stimulate the market economy, and there's not a whole lot of consensus that you can build to basically attract and sustain investment into your market, because the population will push back and they wouldn't want anybody else to help support capacity building in their marketplace. So that's just the reality of a disenfranchised population, which is happening in the US and throughout the state. On top of that, there's a lot of social issues that's going on in the country. And, as a son of legal immigrants, I've seen just about everything, folks, in terms of, institutional racism, workplace discrimination, civil rights issues, and human rights abuse. I myself have been, a survivor of those type of treatments. But with what's going on with our borders and with what's going on overall with the illegal immigrant population, it's gotten way too out of control. And I think it's best for us to start addressing those issues. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys today. Obviously, there's a lot more that I can talk about, but since I don't really have a whole lot of time, what I would recommend is to follow our YouTube channel and our social media platforms, on Facebook, just so you're constantly learning about our platform and our position. Unlike some of my competition, the only time you see them posting things is when they have some sort of public engagement. They don't really share who they are as a person on their platform. So that's just how things are, folks. And it's never a good thing, because sometimes politicians will put up front. They'll tell you, what you want to hear, and should they feel they want to manipulate you for some reason as the voter, instead of just sharing who they are and being transparent with the public. They are more interested in putting up a front, like a show, to convince you that they should win your hearts and minds. And it's really not the most efficient way to hire someone. You want somebody that is just authentic, transparent, and overall honest in the way that they represent themselves. All right, folks. So, yeah, I figure I kind of discuss some of these with you. Obviously, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I'm the youngest of all the Republican candidates, which is not the best, because I'm already in my 40s. You want young blood in politics. You want, innovative thinkers, problem solvers, those that have, kind of evolved and have been consistent to conservative values, even though the world has changed big time. Right, so anyway, that's pretty much what I'm planning on talking about today. I'm going to take some questions and try to provide some sort of answer to them. But overall, folks, the Republican Party has really gone downhill when it comes to technology and modernization of the marketplace. Most of them still work when it comes to campaigning in the traditional sense of campaigning. They go out there, shake hands, connect with people, whereas the Democrats use this artificial intelligence. They do their market research well in advance using artificial intelligence and profiling certain markets and districts and people to know how to target them using artificial intelligence. And so that's just how things are. The Democrats have significantly outdone the Republican Party when it comes to using social media and technology, mainly because most of these social media giants are based in blue states. And so it's kind of hard to counter them when they have their very party, party affiliation that promote the Democrat agenda. Okay, and it's easy to see that if you pay attention to who uses what on their social media platform, and the type of interaction that's happening in today's America via social media. So this is where my expertise is pretty much going to serve its purpose, to preserve our sovereignty as a country in today's new world marketplace. So I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper. I don't know to what extent they really want to hear this, but unfortunately, in the year 2026, we have to have a new game plan, special for the conservative, population of the country, because they're dwindling. They're not gonna be much of the conservative values that will be preserved into the next 15 to 20 years, mainly because we haven't kept ourselves relevant and adjusted the changes in today's reality in the marketplace. A matter of fact, if you look at the strategy of most Republican candidates, it's pretty simple actually. They haven't really done a whole lot of innovative market relevant campaigning other than talking about the same value system that is traditionally conservative, which is, to me, it's okay, but we have a very different mixture of age group and demographic in today's America, and unless you connect with those younger population, there's not going to be much of conservative values that will be preserved in the next couple of years in our country, because people will just basically transition into a more liberal value system without really thinking about it, because it becomes the norm in the marketplace. So it's harder to promote certain values in the next 10 to 25 years. I mean, I've seen this happening in various countries that are transitioning from former communist societies, former dictator societies, oligarchy, monarchy, tyrannical societies. I've seen them. And the more that they advance, in terms of their democratization, the more they become open to new things. And they're just going to kind of explode. It's going to be worldwide accepted because of technology, because of social media. I mean, if you're tyrannical society, I can see that being of value. But if you're already a westernized democratic society and then you become a communist and become a monarchy back to the past, then that's no good. It's going to not only disenfranchise your population, it will ruin your market position, and that's just the reality of things. All right, folks. So anyway, I thought I share these ideas and concepts and overall experience with the public today, and see to what extent they want to engage me. As most of you can tell, I'm not a typical politician, but hey, somebody's got to step up to the plate And as much as I'm not much, I really am not like the typical person or politician that wants to get up on the stage that much. I'm mostly fairly reserved as a person, but when you see things that it's really going out of whack and the boat is starting to sink, you just don't say, the boat is sinking. You do something to, take water out and plug that hole. But unfortunately, many people don't want to plug the hole anymore. They've kind of gotten complacent. They don't know how to plug the hole. They don't feel like plugging the hole. And overall, some of them gotten stuck on stupid. Just like the bullfrog effect. Like you see a frog, or you put a frog in a bowl, in a pot with water in it, and put it on the stove, and you gradually increase the heat on that stove where the frog gets comfortable in the pot up until the point that it starts to boil and kills the frog, and it just sits there. So that's the kind of situation for most of people in the Republican Party right now. They're just getting complacent. They don't want to participate anymore because they feel like it's a losing cause, a losing battle. And most of that is because they're not being influenced by a younger generation that still holds on to conservative values. So that's my take on things. Obviously, I'm going uphill on a lot of things. We're still struggling to get some volunteers, funding, and overall opportunity to meet with the public in person. But I feel that things will change in the next few weeks. I haven't given up. I know we have a pretty strong strategy and overall relevance in today's new world marketplace. So folks, I'm gonna see if they'll let me continue my video blog at that event. I tried calling them, but I didn't get a call back. I don't know what's going on right now. I think they moved the time to 11:30 instead of 11 o'clock. So I'm gonna try to make it there a little early, talk to the organizers, see whatever else the game plan is, and hopefully they'll let me take some signatures and do my vlog so y'all can hear me talk. Like I said, most I'm going to be talking about are stuff that I already been talking about on my YouTube channel. So just subscribe, like, and tell your friends about us. All right, so I'm fairly close. I'm gonna cut off in a few minutes. I just thought I say hello and introduce myself to the new folks that have subscribed to our channel. So let's see if they'll let me do my video blog. Okay, folks. So I think this is the restaurant. Yeah, it's going to be interesting in the next couple of weeks, just because things, the campaign season is in full swing now, and people are trying to get back to the swing of things. Oh, I see an LU alumni here. So we'll see. Hopefully the organizers are here. like people are still having breakfast.
Hey girl. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
In the back?
Is that the Norfolk Republican group?
Straight back.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So let me see if they'll let me do my video blog here. So
I told you that, but I just wanted to make sure that.
it looks like people are signing up. Hello, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Aldous Mina. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Is any of the organizers here yet, or is that them?
Pardon me?
The organizer, are they here yet? Is that them setting up there?
Yeah, that's them up there.
Okay, let me go say hello real quick. All right, folks, let me see if they'll let me do a video blog while I'm here. Let me sign in. But if not, then we'll resume our video blog on my way out. We'll see how things gonna evolve. But let me sign in.
Way too cute.
Looks like it's a pretty big group here. There's several tables that they set up. Hey Hammer, hey Antonio and everyone out there. I'm getting ready to sign in.
It wasn't from made in China. And I was canceled my Prime membership and I don't order from them anymore. I know, I mean, unfortunately, everything is the Democrats. I mean, I do like the, public square, because everything is through made in America products. I mean, to me, I think they're a monopoly. They should not be allowed.
Favor, fix to make it where you get paid more tax every system.
Yeah.
All right, folks, let me get my signature set up here.
Yes, yes. Did they find you? There's any more?
Who's this one for?
My name was on top of yours, and they were looking for you. And they came up and asked me, and I'm like, I don't know who did it. That's crazy.
Oh, okay, so Farrington's here. So, okay, I'm gonna put down some of ours too. All right, folks, let me go check in and say hello real quick.
Y'all just left another meeting?
Yeah.
Had to be there, got up the crack of dawn.
Hello. How are you? Pretty good. Hi. I'm Al.
I'm Ray. It's
Ray, nice to see you again.
Meet you, see ya.
Yeah.
Do you have copies of your petition?
I do. I was wondering, is
Awesome.
it okay for me? I've got like 200 people watching my video blog.
Okay, great.
Is it okay for me to run my video blog while I'm here?
Oh, yeah,
That's-
absolutely.
that's all right,
no
because I
problem.
don't wanna-
Just so you know that we do have a representative from Kim Farrington's campaign
That's no problem.
scheduled.
We're all from the same party. I'm glad that they're here, so it's important
Yeah,
that we get some.
That's who's been scheduled, the whole time, so we
Okay.
we allotted her.
Not a problem.
About 15 minutes, but so.
I'll do 5. I just
Okay.
need less than that.
Because we've got to talk about our redistricting efforts.
Sure.
So-
Oh yeah. When Randy Forbes was in office, he was one of my advocates, and because he was supporting me, his district got gerrymandered
Yes.
and all that crap. So it's all good. I completely understand. So is it okay for me to park somewhere at the corner?
Yeah, usually back there, you can get a pretty good view
Okay.
and good reception.
All right, and then can I keep running my vlog, or is that okay? I'm not gonna show the
For
public.
anybody that needs to pay their membership fees or any new members.
I'll pay for the
Yeah.
All right, folks, let me park in the back and introduce myself. It's one of those things that you don't know how many people will be here. I'm gonna try to set my stuff up.
But you live on the South Street, where we're going to Big Ben. I've already met you.
Yes. And we do have some signs that are coming, so you can go to the
It's not on there.
You know,
We have 4 finance, we don't have 4 finance, these are 4x4s, I think they're all 3x4s. Hi, Rob. Feel free to sign in first, please.
No, we
Yeah, you have a petition right up there, so if you want to just go ahead and put it on the paper with everybody. That's possible, thank you.
We're just trying to find the grass roots.
Let's create.
Yeah, I'm happy to travel across the street. You know, if you all can, it's a pretty interesting experience. Sure.
Do you have extra leads for people?
Didn't say that.
I commuted in Washington DC.
Where do you live in?
Here.
Closest one that's out there for sure. My boss, he used to travel.
I mean, I would possibly, if I'm not really
Better.
probably gonna be.
And I don't know.
Yeah, I was up in Danville, out in Maddox, Lynchburg, Roanoke, you know, all Bedford area.
Conversations out there. They see all
Luckily, I
We need more than that.
So some of my former classmates have listened to this but yeah, it's
Right.
pretty
It's okay.
Keep our fingers crossed. People are moving in this area and somewhat of, you know, a new strategy. I'm trying to not to So, we're actually connecting with the younger folks. We're trying to Liberty University, Charles Kirk was one of the honorary representatives. Well, we're trying to tap into, you know, various demographics.
Just printing out yours.
Oh, so you just be a.
Virginia Beach. Oh my goodness gracious, they're all over.
It's 25.
And then, oh, I also got a comment right this to know. Excellent. Yeah, it's a graduate from Gravity that went to Liberty University. This year's university. Yes, sir.
Most of
They're
them.
renovating.
My daughter, No,
We do a lot of the same stuff.
No, play.
I did, recognize that name? I recognize the last.
Where's everything, right?
That's all. That's all.
Right? Right? I feel like I should hug you because you've been so sweet. This is my daughter Juliana, she's from Norfolk, she actually lives right down the street. Trying to get her connected, she moved in about a year ago, and so she's trying to get connected to the community, so she's gonna help me out today.
Here's Mars. I don't know. But I'm fairly, a little loud.
And then good.
Very safe. Pick a table, I don't care how long. Pick a table, I don't care. I'm over
What did you call it?
I asked Sarah.
I'll write my number and my number on the card.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they still need to come,
I'll talk a little bit about it. My grandfather was actually, I don't know if you guys know,
Okay, the post is easy, that's more blocks. Big blocks. They're all gonna be
some friendlies, because I wouldn't allow down. Yes, yes. He's not making us feel like
Every Sunday.
He's down to church. And
Good things.
How do you go?
Oh, yeah.
Just like this one thing, the dog and the sills come over to this. That's from. Working building.
You're here. Quinn, this is my name, Betsy, and this is a very dear friend of mine, Quinn. This is a very dear friend of mine, Jerry. I don't know, you guys were coming together, you didn't know that. No, good, well, nice to meet you.
Where do you want to sit?
You also were.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm so glad somebody came
She's got, I'm bringing with
Just chilling, found some place to sit.
She's the one that got me.
So how have you been all? Yeah, I always look at your house when I drive down the street, I drive my granddaughter to Granby.
Do you get the floor for
That's a plan. Sounds like a good idea.
We'll let people take a stake.
I like it. Bookmarks the spot.
Let's go sit there. No, you're fine.
Now, what are we supposed to do? Okay. We'll get something on that table.
I have to do this now because I'm becoming a member.
And I don't know what I'm doing.
You take it with your name and it's at the end of supposed to give you.
And there was something else.
Did I give you your ticket with your
No,
name?
no, so wherever you want. So wherever you want. Oh, right, yes. So wherever you want.
Oh, okay, we gotta sign in. I got it. It doesn't matter where we live.
I'm good.
Let me say this, when you got the door.
I gotta go sign in.
Oh, okay.
It's like him.
I still have it. Mine is right now.
Now I'm down to 25.
I grabbed something
So I was
wrong.
like taking pictures.
Oh, that's for the petitions. These are petitions for folks that.
What's your name?
Oh, wait a minute. This is from Is one already up here? I think I said it. Okay, let's see. It's not? Here, right here. I signed that one. I think those are new. One of these is
Hello, I'm Al. Yeah, are you with Kim Farrington? Yeah, I set my stuff over there, so I'm glad to.
my signatures over there. But, we're almost in the park, so, oh, yeah, I think that's for Robert. Yeah, she's sorry for doing Yeah, I've been trying to talk about I used to work in the manufacturing with my boss when I was with I'm going against my boss. Hopefully, be thrown by the end of November.
I work for Big Bear since a kid.
So I went to here walking the So yeah, I grew up in the area. I went to Granby High School and then attended Liberty University. Worked for the federal government. Back to Central and Eastern Europe, did a lot of economic development work. Then started my own company and traveling to stuff.
Nice hearing your background.
It is. There's quite a bit of changes that happened in the area, and obviously, pretty liberal for the most part. Right.
I raised my family in Stafford.
Right. Oh, he's the Ukrainian American guy. Yeah, I've come across him. But we're
Every year. I've seen YouTube of them all. So are you staff or?
Likewise, you've been saying hi to me. Yeah, absolutely. We'll try to leave out your problem.
We've been a lot of families. We've been a lot of and so like we were traveling until last week. So we need burden. Outside. We had to do something.
Yeah.
We work as a team.
You know, I used to live on one of the really bad.
Right, when I was the last he did a great job of trying to balance.
So, check us out. I'm actually live streaming on our YouTube channel. We've got about 200 people watching right now. Maybe you can get in front of our, video levels so our supporters can know about these platforms.
Do me a favor before you sign up.
I'm sorry? Yes, 1998. I just grabbed you.
You're just one over there.
Oh, yeah, when I was in Granby, they were renovating the whole school. Oh, really? So what part of
Make sure you are artists, if you think you are a mix of the studies. And the good people that and the guy that a lot of people like
It's kind of one of those things. You know, this area's got a quick. When I was studying at Grammy, it was somewhat well balanced. But now it's gotten to the point that it's really counterproductive. It's went down to a big turbines.
Whacking birds out of the sky. And a lot of them are endangered. Like the eagle.
Yeah, Phil Hernandez. Yeah, I know. He and I got his he has no idea what he's doing. He's getting his marching orders from everybody from the General Assembly, and he's not doing a whole lot. And I said, it's sad. And I went to one of these events, and it's pretty much just screwed everybody. You know, like, he doesn't care about the politics, he cares about what, you know, two of the mayors of the Democrat Party in the General Assembly and Luis Lucas people are telling him what to do. And so I'm like, are you going to help us public, or are you just going to follow these bureaucratic crap that forcing people down the road? I'm like, you can't do that. I mean, he and I are the same age group, so I'm actually the youngest person in the Republican farmers. So, majority of them. And so we're kind of, you know, bringing in a mixed bag of, you know, pushing stuff to Virginia. But, you know, Virginia's changed dramatically when I started getting involved in politics. I didn't think I'd be a politician, to be honest. I got involved in politics when I was 16 years old. Right. But the Virginia political system's gotten very toxic to the point that people are disenfranchised. They don't want to participate anymore. They don't believe in any politics. They're not supporting and it's so similar to some of the countries where I work at, because my background is in economic development, and a lot of what I do is build opportunities in various countries, especially Central and Eastern Europe.
Join you guys?
And I see a lot of that happening.
Well, so nice to meet you.
Being here from the Philippines was actually a former
Oh, you did? Okay, so it's
I guess I actually, when I was working for the yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think my good should, yeah, that's a big
It should have been like, hey, we need to work on this today.
I mean, that's, to me, that's the future of you guys,
some of my old classmates they moved pretty much here in this area. Like what they're trying to do is close to March Road.
That's the last. They're trying to
I actually run.
That's all. I'd like to say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. morning. So you know, some of y'all may not know who I am. I'm John Sitka. I'm the chairman of the Republican Party of Norfolk. Some of y'all might have previously known as running for school board, the 93rd District, House, and then of course, the 3rd Congressional District last year. So some of y'all may have met me before if I haven't knocked on your door. But I want to say this year, some of you are going to realize when Republicans don't vote. What happens when Republicans don't vote? We elect Democrats. That's correct. We elect Democrats every time Republicans stay home. Folks, it was numerically obvious when I was running for school board and the House of Delegates that had the Republicans showed up, we would have had a Republican in those positions. Wow. But because they stayed home. Folks, when I was knocking on doors, I'm kind of telling you this for a reason. I ran into some very, very hostile Democrats. And I, even when I was running for school board, Trump wasn't on the ballot, but I got all kinds of MAGA conversations. Even when I was running for the House of Delegates, people yelling and screaming at me, and I'm just, what is wrong with you? Regardless, it didn't matter. But you know, those people didn't upset me. In fact, when I walked away from these people, I was praying to God for their very souls. I did that because I knew if you thought this way about abortion and transgender, then you weren't in line with God. So my heart was praying for them. That being said, those aren't the people that upset me or broke my heart. The people that broke my heart, Paula will tell you, because she was my driver, when I'm knocking on a door, it's a Republican. It was a hard Republican. You know what they told me? Why bother? We're going to lose. Folks, that's what we're going to have to change. In the city of Norfolk, we may be only a 35 out of 65%. It doesn't matter. Trust me, Democrats don't always show up to vote either. Republicans have got to get off their doofuses. We got to go talk to people, meet our fellow Republicans, meet our fellow conservatives, and say, quit sitting home. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but let's first start off with a prayer this morning for our meal. And by the way, I'll talk about our meal in a second. Heavenly Father, thank you very much for bringing us together as a family. Father, we're all trying to be aligned with you and your Son, to be aligned with Christ and our biblical teachings. Therefore, that is why we're here today. Father God, please look after everybody here in this room, protect them, and most of all, we want to give thanks to you for this meal and the hands that made it, and to be to the nourishment of our bodies, so we can go forth in your name and your Son's holy, precious name. Amen. Folks, we do real quick, we'll do a pledge of allegiance real quick, since we do have a flag. I don't know about you, sometimes for me it's a little hard to stand up like it was at Virginia Beach. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, some of y'all have probably figured out that this place is a nice place to meet for a group of people, especially for people like here in Norfolk. I must confess, because we have more than 20 people, the restaurant asked that we pick from the 3 menu items: club sandwiches, a kilo platter, and a burger, with or without cheese, whatever you want. So that is why I'm kind of showing this to each of you, to say, so we can get quicker service. This is a small restaurant.
That has good business.
Yeah, and I want to make sure we tell you this, because if we had given you the full menu, Folks, we would have been here all day. Not that I don't mind that, but I know some of y'all have lives and you're gonna leave. We have a couple of folks tonight, today. I think I've had a few functions. We have a few folks that are doing various campaigns, so some statewide. And I want to remind some of y'all that have been running for office, it's not an easy job. So, there is one issue. Now, in Virginia Beach this morning, they were focused on Barry Knight's sentencing. And they got a couple of things. Well, guess what? The Democrats decided to break the law. Nothing new, because they know there's not a judge or anybody to stop them now. This had to do that they got to do canvassing and everything. The primary, what? Tuesday. So there was no time for advertising, no time for door knock. I mean, it was like, this is so they could break the law.
Yes, and early voting in that race begins on March 6th with the actual election day of March 17th. For that, and that's for Barry Knight's house, Senate House.
Just let Farm Bureau know if you want to vote for down there.
Well, if there's anybody that is available on Tuesday and wants to volunteer, to help out in the 98th, what they're at, what Virginia Beach is asking is that they contact their office and volunteer. Because they prefer to have some folks that can help with the election inside that aren't part of the 98th district. So that those who are part of the 98 can go out into the neighborhoods and to get their supporters out to vote. Because Barry Knight, even though he really wasn't able to campaign in November, he won with, I think it was what, 54% of the vote? 56% of the vote. So as a result, the candidate that lost to him, she's been waiting and trying to out there on social media and building a following so that she could pounce as soon as something happened to her. And they came out just yesterday in Richmond and set this date. And then, I mean, they have 3 days.
You said Tuesday, right? February 24th, this Tuesday. And what do you need, right? What do
We
we need?
need volunteers to help with.
In what district? Virginia Beach, correct?
Virginia Beach District, yeah.
Everybody
So if you're
calendars.
able to do that, contact the Republican Party of Virginia Beach's office immediately, let them know you can help. Okay?
And that's what do they need for?
Basically, just help them with getting voters in and out, because they have to do it through canvas in order to whittle down to their candidate. They've got 2 people that are running. So when you have to process voters through, they need help with getting that so that they can get as many of their Republicans in to get the best candidate. So,
Where's the voting going to be called?
Larry Lane is
District.
in the process of securing all of that, finalizing it today. But it will be somewhere in the 98th district as far as the canvas. And this is just to get the candidates, because they have to elect by Thursday of next week, the 26th, who is their candidate.
Right, what area is 98 district?
It's what?
Southern.
Southern Virginia Beach area.
Way out.
Farm District.
Yeah.
Use it as a social event. Right, meet up with friends. Meet up.
Hey, we're all Republicans, right? It doesn't matter where we live, we're all Republicans.
The one thing they asked, that it didn't matter if you're part of that district or not. In fact, they were quite glad that if you did be part of that district, just to help them out. So they can have their own people knock on the door. By the way,
Bryce Reeves.
Bryce Reeves gave a very impassionate speech this morning. And I'm going to talk about it today too. This is something you all need to be aware of, and I'm sure you are, about April 21st. What does that mean to us?
Vote no.
Vote
Now, some of y'all may or may not know what gerrymandering is. And that's basically, we're going to change the boundaries of various voting districts to encompass specific type of voting. Yeah, but they're looking at making it not a law, but a constitutional amendment by making this permanent. And I'm putting that out because what does changing it mean? Well, right now, our current arrangement is 6-5, 6 Democrats, 5 Republicans, and those are seats going to Congress, the U.S. Congress. What they want to change it to is 10 seats Democrats, 1 seat Republican. And right now, some of y'all have kept up with the news, may already know that parts of western part of the Commonwealth of Virginia want to go and align themselves with the state of West Virginia. I hope they stay because we got to fight this thing. We may be a small group, but by God, we have to fight it and let them know we exist and we want people to say no. As I said earlier, the reason I was really upset with our Republican voters was seriously because they didn't want to participate in the election process. They stayed home. Folks, when I see all of y'all's faces out here, I'm encouraged, I'm heartened, I'm glad, I'm thankful you're here. Because that means you care enough to do something about our state, about our Commonwealth. So therefore, when we look at it, now what does this mean in the Congress? If the Democrats gain the majority in November, what do you think happens to Trump's agenda? It comes to a stop. Because the first thing they're going to do is impeach. Now, needless to say, it's going to be a short-lived impeachment because once it gets to the Senate, they have to have 2/3 of majority to get rid of the president. But I guarantee you, they're going to do everything they can to stop his agenda. And like I said, they were running on affordability. Yeah, we see how that works here in Virginia, right? Paula, how's our electric bill doing?
It's going to get worse, sir. That should build momentum, right?
We hope, and that's what we want.
Before, right?
So if anything, folks, I want to get each of y'all out there to tell your friends, family, whoever who will listen. Now, it's say family, but I have family members that are Democrats. I have friends that are Democrats. Regardless,
Are they going to be able to afford their electric bill this summer? I'm asking you, sir.
Probably not.
Not you worry, I'm just.
Probably not.
You don't need it.
They're going to start getting angry as they get their warmed up, right?
I guess so.
Well, they're the kind that you can't tell them anything to do. Well, we won't convince them.
I mean, they'll probably keep his pot plants. But folks, the reason I'm telling you this, we have a few people who are going to speak. Please go ahead and get your orders in. I'm sorry we only have 3, but we have a lot of people today.
A lot of people every week.
That's right. And I want to thank y'all for being here. And I want to make sure that everything takes care of. Okay, where's, yes.
One question. People keep telling me that in 2024, when Norfolk was redistricted, it's because of the Republicans.
Well, okay. I want to let somebody know about this redistricting thing.
Thank you.
If you go to the Democrats commercials right now on TV, they're saying it's because the Republicans in the state of Texas redistrict theirs to 5. Well, no, they followed the Constitution. They actually redistricted according to what the Supreme Court told them to do.
This was in 2024.
Second thing, most important, most people don't know, the Democrats have been redistricting for decades.
Yep. Yeah.
Go to any northeast state, go to California.
California.
A lot of states were redistricted before Texas did anything.
91% California.
So I'm telling you each this for a particular reason. It's a lie. They're doing it as an excuse, but it's always gonna be because of life, and always redistrict. They're just finding an excuse. They will lie, they will cheat, they will steal any way they can. Remember, this is not a group based on morals. Morals do not apply.
Thank you. So we could go, we're doing the rule that could go through with this, but then 24 hours. They ensure that it's practiced early release, there's no doing the referendum.
Yes, we're gonna actually lock out all the redistricting after our guests.
So that might not go for this.
Well, we're going to get acting like this.
Okay, but you may not.
But I have to agree with you. I have to proceed as though. Yes, sir.
I'm really having what's being talked about in the state of Oklahoma.
All right, we have a speaker.
You want me to speak?
Well, did you not? What, is that why you came?
I mean, it's up to you, your dialogue.
5 minutes.
Okay, well. Hello, folks. Can everyone hear me all the way back there?
Yes, sir.
I'm not much of a politician. My background's in economic development. I travel around the world building countries, purchasing power, their overall capacity, and democratized societies around the world that have been formerly in touch with the communist, agenda and dictatorship and tyrannical societies around the world. So the way that we transition them out of those kinds of predicament is basically create their opportunities and purchasing power. So my background is heavily vested in economic development. I served in the U.S. Peace Corps and the U.S. mission, under the U.S. Embassy mission in Bucharest, Romania. Well familiar with what's going on in Ukraine. I was there for about a month and a half. And then Republic of Moldova, Bulgaria, and all the emerging markets of Central and Eastern Europe. My background, I come from a typical legal immigrant family. My parents and grandparents actually was under General Aldous Mina''s supervision when he was in the Philippines at that time, when the Philippines was a U.S. territory. So how did I become so conservative? Well, to be honest, I'm more of a quasi-conservative because a lot of my upbringing comes out of Liberty University. I played for Jerry Falwell's orchestra, sat 2 feet away from him, and he and I would kind of, talk about certain market conditions in the state of Virginia. Got me plugged in within the Commonwealth political system and throughout the U.S. Government. Why did I decide to participate as a politician, given that I really didn't want to become one? When I was in Eastern Europe, I saw a lot of, strange things. Growing up in Norfolk, Virginia, going to Grant High School, I noticed that in Central and Eastern Europe, they silence the people's choice. They have no free will. A lot of what they want to do in order to develop their capacity is being stonewalled by their own government. And I saw that happening here in the Commonwealth when it's coming back. And I was like, whoa, it feels like I'm back in Eastern Europe when I returned. So I decided to toss my name in the hat and support, a very conservative value and Republican agenda. It's just that I'm not much of a politician, so you all can see. I don't talk like one, I don't act like one, I don't operate like one. I didn't want to be a career politician. I started my own company supporting market development, trading capacity building between the U.S. market and all the emerging and frontier markets around the world. So we tried to bring in foreign direct investment to help job creation in the state of Virginia. So that's my background. What else did I think you want me to talk about? Feel free to ask me questions because I didn't really prepare a whole lot in terms of
what offers are you running for?
I'm running for the U.S. Senate. I'm going against Mark Warner. He was my former boss.
Oh, yeah.
And I was with the VP key. And a lot of what I would do is provide subject matter expertise and capacity building to stimulate the Commonwealth economy, basically creating jobs and supporting all sorts of trade and commercial development within the state until he became the U.S. Senator. So he's got a pretty big wall. He's got a gigantic wall. If y'all go to my YouTube channel, you'll see my overall platform regarding his purchasing power and the way that he's basically monopolized the political system in the state of Virginia. I'm the youngest running for office within the U.S. Senate on a Republican ticket. And basically, what I've noticed, because my campaign is heavily vested in emerging and frontier markets, so I kind of use my background and expertise in, basically tapping into the younger population's agenda in terms of their future and what's going to happen, and not just in the year 2026, but all the way out to 2056, and what could happen within our market economy and our overall purchasing power. So I try to support this kind of agenda because at the current situation that we're in, the Republican Party, unfortunately, is at the downhill slope on its overall strategy in winning hearts and minds of the public. Mainly because a lot of our population is, gravitating towards the social media platform. I actually started, I'm going to get up, I started my own campaign. It's called Face Economics, the utilization of the social media platform in economic development worldwide. Check us out. I've got my YouTube channel, my Facebook page. I've got my podcast. I've got everything. Basically, I did, my interview with Fox News 2 weeks ago. I'm not the typical politician. Unfortunately, if you're looking for somebody who's a career politician, I'm not your guy because I don't sound like one, don't look like one, don't want to operate like one. I've got a disruptive, agenda in terms of how we can counter the Democrat Party. They don't like me because I know their game. And basically, I can debase everyone within the Democrat, especially the younger population, within their, narrative. So that's my agenda. So thank you so much for your time. Please sign our petition. Sorry, I've went through longer than I was allowed to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to remind everybody, we have some clipboards over here, and whether you like the person or not, it doesn't hurt to sign the clipboard.
Just to get people's name on the
It
ballot.
just gets people, that's exactly right, gets name on the ballot. All it does, so please, I encourage you, who's next?
We'll have Kim Jones with,
Kim?
Good Barrington's campaign.
Please.
Hi, everybody. On behalf of Kim Farrington, good morning, America First Patriots! Kim is running for U.S. Senate Republican to unseat Mark Warner. Well, I say fire him, right? Get himself out of there.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to lay that down here for a moment. I want to tell you a little bit about Kim, and then I want to tell you why I am here today. So, Kim is a killer smart CPA who spent 33 years working in the federal government as a government financial manager. She went in, when she worked for the DOD, she found inefficiencies and waste that was so simple to correct, but nobody ever wanted to change it. Are you ready for why? Well, this is the way we've always done it. And she said, we're not going to do it like that anymore. And she made that change, and she saved you guys so much money, the American taxpayer, that George Bush #2 called her to the White House and says, implement those efficiencies and that waste reduction across the federal government. And Kim alone saved the American taxpayer over $1 billion already. And when she gets into the U.S. Senate, she is going to go after all those inefficiencies, fraud, and waste. I'm sure you guys are so sick and tired of watching things like in Minnesota, the Somali daycare center things. And we work so hard for our money. And then what happens? You see it just getting wasted. It's like, let's open a garbage can and just dump that money in there. But that could be used to go into the pockets of our seniors, our young families, our middle class, everybody who needs a leg up in this world. And she wants to do that. And what's so wonderful about that is an issue that resonates across the board. That's not some one-sided issue. Everybody cares about how our money is spent. And so she is going to go after that. She personally knows of $230 billion just waiting to be uncovered that she wants to take care of on day one. Of course, she's a huge supporter of our veterans, our militaries, our first responders, our law enforcement, and their families. Now, why am I here today? Well, first of all, Kim would have loved to have been here. I asked for a prayer. She's on an airplane right now on her way to Florida. Her mother is not doing well. So if you could say a quick prayer for her, I would appreciate that. But 14 years ago, I started working for an association of government accountants up in Alexandria. And the mission of the organization is to make the government more accountable to the taxpayer. And Kim lived and breathed that. And while I didn't immediately meet her face to face, I heard her name all the time, Kim Farrington. She's reliable, she's smart, she gets it done. Ask her, she knows how to do it, she knows how to make things better. And then over the years, I did eventually get to meet her. When I found out she was running, I'm like, I'm in. So I'm working as her director of communications right now for her campaign. Let me tell you some things that will give you hope. This fine gentleman, I appreciate the rally call, and you know what? There is a lot of hope, and I'll tell you why. I've been on the road with Kim for the last 3 weeks, all over Virginia. By the way, she has put over 38,000 miles on her car since she announced her candidacy. If you go to her website, you will see everywhere she has been over the last 14 months, talking to everybody. She calls it her Listening to Virginians tour, because she says, I can't lead, I can't represent if I don't know what's on the minds of all these people. But I will tell you, we were trying to collect signatures, which, as Al knows, is very difficult to do. And we were up in Fairfax County, right, deep blue. And I want to tell you that this happened on this day, the story I'm about to tell you, 4 times exactly the same way. So I approached a lady and I'm like, excuse me, would you be willing to sign the ballot petition for Kim Farrington? Here she's running for US Senate. Democrat or Republican. She's running as a Republican, but she wants to, and before but I will not vote for, I will not support a Republican. I've never supported a Republican. I will not support, no, get away from me. And what I did is said this, whoa, I'm not asking you to sign, I'm not asking you to vote. I just want you to know if your guy doesn't win, you don't have to be scared. And I know so many of you are scared of Republicans, but you don't have to be. Let me just tell you a little bit about Kim. And I shared what she'd done with the fraud. And I said, and she's sick and tired of nobody up there getting along anymore. She's like, how is it that you and I can talk here in the mall, but nobody up there can talk? And they all say, I'm sick of it, I'm tired of it, this is ridiculous. I'm like, we're tired of it too. Why are we letting them tell us how we're supposed to behave as a community? You know what? You vote the way you do because of the path you took in life. I vote the way I do because of the path I've taken in life. Why can't we respect those paths and synergize our paths to come up with things that will benefit all of us? Why are we always talking about things that on this side? There's so many things here that we can talk about. And every time the Democrats had given me the clipboard, signed and said, I wish you the best. I hope you can do what you say you can do. So there is hope. Now, how does a Republican, well, you're right, 1.4 million Republicans stayed home in the last election you guys had. 1.4 million Republicans stayed home. Maybe it's because they didn't like the candidate, maybe they didn't think we could win. I'm going to give you some really great news. Mark Warner has run 3 times. Twice on a Republican ticket, he won by 25-30%. But on the year that he did not run, in a midterm election, he only won by 0.88. 0.88, ladies and gentlemen, we can do this, and I'll tell you why. I have met so many independents and moderate Democrats on the campaign trail who are so upset at what Governor Spamberger has done. This bait and switch. Do you realize she was at the Rockingham Gun Show last year telling people she's a 2A supporter and got people to sign and support her? She's a liar. I mean, flat out, she's a liar. And not only that, in 2019, she said that she's absolutely against the redistricting. That's unconstitutional. It should be a bipartisan. And she's such a liar, okay? So people are fired up. Independents. First of all, before this whole thing with Aldous Mina, we know there are 37% of independents who will not vote for Warner. And we know there's 12% that already felt completely disenfranchised. That's before this. Now we have Abigail Spamberger in there, and people are scared. And there are a lot of Democrats who love their guns. I met them at the gun shows, I can tell you. So if nothing else, you get hit them on that issue. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know it is so easy to be sad or discouraged or disappointed. I know. But I have to tell you, the stars are lining up. Abigail Spanberg could be the best gift that we got, because people now realize that their Virginia isn't the Virginia they thought they were voting for. And so you mobilize all of your Republican friends. If you find your independent friends, if you find Democrats, say, what has Mark Warner done for you? I'll tell you something else. It does affect this community because there's a lot of federal contracts, but it definitely affects Northern Virginia. Governor Warner, as Al and I were talking about earlier, used to be a man who would reach across the aisle and try to negotiate. In the longest shutdown in American history, 43 days, that man disappeared. Disappeared. He didn't try to negotiate. He voted for the shutdown. You know how many people that affected in Northern Virginia? And here too, I know there's a lot of federal contracts, but you think of the DC area. Those are people like me and you who had no idea where the money was coming from the next week and the next week and the next week and had to do without. Mark Warner is one of the wealthiest people in Congress. He's, I think, the third wealthiest senator. You think he missed a paycheck?
Nope.
You think he cared if you guys ate or not?
Nope.
If you could pay your light bill? No, he doesn't. Well, I'll tell you something about Kim. Kim mows her own lawn. She sits in traffic. She goes to Walmart like we do. She understands it. She's a small business owner now. She's got a financial advisory firm and cybersecurity firm, and her business suffered during this. So she's not somebody who doesn't understand what's going on. She's somebody that is personally affected by this. So you have this woman who has been a dedicated public servant for 33 years, who is killer smart, who honestly is so like us, who just says, I can't sit and watch this happen anymore. Somebody's got to do something. And so she's standing up for you to do this. So I do ask, if her message resonates with you, please, if you can donate to her campaign. And I will tell you, I mean, everyone's funding it at this level, like, oh, their own money and the lemonade stands in their backyard. So if you could donate to her campaign, please, if you have not signed her petition, my daughter was passing around her petition earlier, and I know there's one up here. Please do sign her petition. If you would like to get some signatures for her, every candidate send at least 10,000 signatures. If you want to grab some pages and go to your churches, go to your neighborhood, whatever, and get some signatures from her, that would be wonderful. I wanted to tell you, you all have this card on your table, okay? I encourage you to take it. It's just a little overview, Kim. The phone number on this card, she's given away thousands and thousands of this card. That phone number is the exact same phone number I used to contact her. And why does she say that? She goes, I'm sick and tired of people getting elected to office. They feel like little emperors and empresses, and they don't have to listen to us. She goes, you are the boss.
Amen.
You are the boss. I am the worker before you. You contact me. And her exact quote is, if there's anything I can do for you, let me know and I will do my best for you. And I'll finish with this. She's not asking you to trust her. She wants you to give her the opportunity to earn your trust. So if you want to help volunteer on her campaign or anything, that info number, she gets that. I also get that. I will be happy to go right to you.
We also have a sign-up sheet if anybody wants to sign up to help and support any of the candidates specifically, but then that would be the sheet.
Okay, thank you. And that is my presentation for Kim. This gentleman had a question.
Lots of military in the area, and I'm getting stuff all the time from the two senators of how good they are for the military. I know their history, and so in going forward, if that's some way that you can grasp that, I don't know.
Her husband is a retired Navy captain.
Excellent.
And so
Maybe
she
need to jump on that,
Yeah.
because the two guys up there are terrible, obviously, but they're using that. So
She, well, on her card, she does talk about that, but whenever we meet military people, she goes out of her way to explain what she wants to do. She's had a lot of veterans come up and say it's the healthcare. I can't get in for an appointment, or it's substandard, and then you have somebody else say, well, mine is actually pretty good. So clearly there's something going on, there's an unbalance where some people are imbalanced, some people are getting good care, some people aren't, so she wants to investigate that as well. But I will bring that to her, yes. Yes, sir, thank you. You have a question?
Can you speak?
I'd like to address that. I'm a former GS-12. I was an auditor for the federal government. Worked with DOD, worked with veterans, associations throughout the country. When you audit the purchasing power of our military, it's mostly on quality of life. You know, whatever is accessible in the marketplace for them to get access to certain benefits. Unfortunately, our government have been stuck in a quagmire where they're not able to adjust certain standard of living prerequisites in terms of, you know, the purchasing power, pay, salary, housing, medical, education. And it's not something that the U.S. Senate is overly vested in terms of, you know, supporting the demand for, you know, the military. Given that majority of them have no finance, accounting, economic background, their overall agenda is to protect our citizens and not have a lot of, you know, purchasing power support created for our military, unfortunately. But we have the defense support, and that's just a pre-existing condition in our market. Mainly because if you bring in people from out of state and then they're just graduate from high school, yes, go ahead.
All those things, absolutely. But what are we going to do? What are you going to do about it?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay, and so, yeah, we know all that stuff. Don't have to even go over it.
She has the
What's the
floor.
next step for the next number of years?
So we have to basically shake the boat, rock the boat. So we got to make sure that
All right, folks,
we don't have a lot of time. I'll talk to you.
I gotta continue this, keep going.
I'm sorry, we just have a very full agenda today, so we need to.
But Mike-
Additional speakers as well as some stuff that we.
I gotta move along. I got a question. I think we had a question at that table.
Well, I just was wondering if they are gonna be focused on making good ads, because I think that was one of the disadvantages that Winston has, the ad was not.
So I don't want to say it because I don't want to say it out loud, but yes, we have a fantastic plan for ads, I can assure you.
I think you're a very good advocate, but everybody has to hear it as.
Absolutely.
And what we're gonna do, because nobody cares about, well, they care a little bit about your background, but they wanna know what you're gonna do for them.
Absolutely.
They're not concerned about what brought you to this moment as much as they are concerned
Well,
about.
and again, the fraud is her biggest thing, and I think that's a unifying thing, but noted, thank you very much. But yes, we have talked at great length about commercials, and we have some really, really good ones.
Because the Democrats are very ugly with their.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Well, speaking of that, now when you talk about getting along, go along, get along type of attitudes, I'm very suspicious of those. Democrats just want to destroy Republicans and keep power to themselves. How is going along to get along going to help us? Case in point, the SAVE Act. No, it's a non-starter for them, and they're willing to shut the government down. So how would you make sure you're going to go along, get along?
Well, I know with Kim, first of all, she makes her decisions by numbers, data-driven decisions. And so she doesn't do it by, I feel like, she brings real data. And I've watched her talk to people, I mean, these last couple of hundreds and hundreds of people, where when she explains, they ask very similar questions, and when she explains how she works and what her method is for getting people to understand that this is the best thing for the country. She's not saying, oh, I'm gonna just vote along with Democrats whenever they go. She is a Republican, she is a hardcore Republican, but she is going to listen to all Virginians and explain how the ideas that the Republican Party represent can work well and benefit to help Virginia families and businesses prosper. Everything will be data-driven where people can't say, well, that's just how you feel. She'll be like, these are the numbers, this is the data, this is what I'm showing you, this is the best thing for Virginia.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, another candidate, someone here to speak for Dave Williams.
David Williams, yeah.
Please tell us about it.
Yeah, I'll be really quick. So, my name is Spencer. I'm here with the David Williams campaign, and David Williams is also running to retire Mark Moore. So, David has lived a lifelong service. You know, right out of high school, he joined the U.S. Navy. When he goes to college, he actually, and going to our LTC, he switched to be a Marine officer, which he ended up serving 2 tours in Iraq, leading Marines through the fight. And then David came back. He served with the State Department as a diplomat down in Latin America, and then he was serving President Trump's CIA. He retired, and now is a Marine reservist, and lives up there in Fairfax with his wife, Melly the Beast. So, like I said, I'm not going to take too much of your time. Biggest thing today is, you know, we have to get 10,000 signatures to get on the ballot, 400 from each congressional district.
What's all right?
So it is a big lift, and we encourage you to find everybody's petition sheets, and I'll be coming around the room and make sure you all sign off. So, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
All right. So y'all heard the Senate candidates. The big problem with that is they got a lot of signatures to get. I think something like, what, 10,000?
Yep.
And then 400 per district? Yes, ma'am.
I think I'm a little bit confused. I know Virginia has 2 senators.
Yes,
And all of these people are running from Farm Warner seat.
that's correct.
Who the hell is the one that's the bozo at? Who is, if I give it out?
He's on
We should have a concentration.
I'm sorry, okay, hold on. I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
We have a really good concentration of the candidates.
Yeah?
What's going on up here?
Up there? Where's up there?
Where Tim Kaine is, the bozo.
Well, unfortunately, he was reelected.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We already had.
There was a gentleman called Tom Cal who ran against him. He is now the deputy for the Secretary of the Navy.
Okay.
Okay?
I thought we did it.
So that being said, yeah, unfortunately, he's got about another 6 years. Yes, sir.
I would just like to say to anyone who's running for either the Senate or Congress, that if you want my vote, I want you to come out loud and often for term limits. That's the only thing that's gonna help us along.
Well, the term limit the president, why not them?
Well, my fear is, when I was touting that, was the fact that we seem to be coming down to the Convention of States.
Yeah.
Now, I would support a Convention of States, but the problem with the Convention of States, if they change the Constitution, that means Democrats can change it. So we run into a danger there. But I'm with you, I hear what you're saying.
Sir, but Kim has made a pledge to only run for 2 terms because she feels like you do.
All right,
I'm pledging I'm only running for 1 term, and I'm going to fix this problem. Because if we're living in a toxic environment, economic wealth, what we're doing right now. We have no strategy as Republicans. It's sad.
all right, folks. The next candidate coming up is Ed Toomey. He's running against, wants to run against Bobby Scott.
He's going to.
Coffee. Who is drinking?
She wants coffee.
Bring it.
You need cream?
I'm a loud talker. I can talk loud.
Anybody else need cream?
By trade, I'm a shipbuilder.
Can you stand up?
Okay, Newport News Shipbuilding. I worked at Schneider Transport in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I worked at English Shipbuilding in Tuscaloosa
Stand up
City.
so we can see you.
All right. I was born in 1950.
Ed, are you able to stand up?
No, I have much of a distance.
Okay.
I didn't have an elevated chair I can sit down. I can't stand for this. So I was born in 1955 in Revere, Massachusetts. Okay, I'm one of 9 children, Roman Catholic. I'm also in the lineage of the Sons of the American Revolution. We go back to, prior to the American Revolution, the 1630 Mayflower. And the lineage there was Daniel Libby. Okay, so in 1960, my dad was with Boston College high school, he's a BC double eagle. BC High, beat Boston College. He got a job to lead Sylvania electric tubes, CRT tubes for your TV in 1960. And we moved to Scottsdale, Arizona with Motorola, still semiconductor. We went to Our Lady of Perpetual Health School in Scottsdale. And 2 years later, Texas Instruments offered my dad a job. We moved to Dallas. And I was there the morning they killed Kennedy. Okay, and I went to St. Paul the Apostle up till 1968 in Dallas. So I know Dallas Cowboys, I know all about Texas, and I took Texas history. And then in 1969, we moved back to Massachusetts, outside Foxborough, a regional high school. I went to King Philip Regional in Rentham, Massachusetts. And started there. Let me see. Met my wife there. I've been married since 1977. But I applied to the Air Force Academy. I got accepted there. I hate flying. I applied to Annapolis, and I got on NAPS, which is a 5-year program. And Margaret Heckler was a congresswoman that nominated me to go to all the academies. And the only one that had an opening, because I guess I applied too late. They said, you can go to Kings Point if you want. And I said, is that the 5-year thing? Yeah. I said, no. So I applied to the Massachusetts Maritime Academy, and I graduated in 1977. Jimmy Carter signed my commission as an ensign. I got a BS in marine engineering, minor in computer science, and I got a third assistant engineer's unlimited horsepower, Stephen Diesel at the U.S. Merchant Marine. And then I, in May '77, English shipbuilding, straight down on Spruance class destroyers. So I built them, took them on sea trials, and I lasted about a year there, because they have an engineering program, you go TE1, TE2, TE3, and when I got to TE4, about 10 months, I said, can I be a supervisor? I said, no, you have to wait a while for this. So my boss wasn't an engineer, his boss wasn't an engineer, and you relax now, okay? So I said, I'm not gonna sit here. So I went to Management Recruiter in Schneider Transports up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, said, hey, you want a job as a regional maintenance supervisor? I said, sure. Money was good. And I have a minor in diesel, so I had domicile facilities all over Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kansas City, and all there, and I had to visit those all the time. And I lasted a year, and it was all right. I said, no. So I applied to Newport News Shipbuilding, and I got in their nuclear program, submarine repair and overhaul refueling. So I did that for a while, and then 4 years later, I went out of submarine nuclear and got a non-propulsion. They made me a supervisor there, and I retired 12 years ago. I went out on disability. I was 58 years old, and so I was doing good. I got a house down in Nags Head. I got 8 grandkids, 2 great-grandkids, and we go down there a lot. And then when this lady, Winston Sears, lost, I lost it. I was shocked. Yeah. And so then I said to my wife, I said, Lord, I'm gonna go try out, see if what I can do against Bobby Scott. We had 3 guys in the last 6 years go against him, and we're always losers. And I want to go talk to the Republican people and see what can we do to make something change different. So what I've been doing is going around the Newport News. It's a bear over there in Hampton. And oh no, no. So that's what I'm struggling. So I talked to John. I said, can I go over here and talk to your group, see if I get signatures? I need 1,000 of them, and they recommend you better get 1,500 of them, because some people, when they do your name to your address, and they check the voter roll, if it's not pristine, it goes off. So I'm looking at getting 1,500 signatures, and I think I have till the end of May. And I was going to ask John if I can give 20 sheets to you guys, if you could be a collector, you know. But if you're a collector of signatures, it requires that you have to do the the notary stamp, and that's the biggest burden that you put on somebody.
I can
You know-
notarize anything for you.
What's that?
I can notarize anything.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Can I leave 20 ballots over the next few months, as you see people wherever you go?
I can't do that. I can notarize for you.
Oh, only notary, I'm sorry, okay, all right.
All right. Thank you, Ed, appreciate it. Folks. Gentleman here had a point. I want to bring this up. For those of us who have land, stick to the issues. No one cares about your past. You have to be an issues person. And if the voter says, I care about term limits, then what's your stance on it? How do you feel about it? I don't care if the House and Senate never vote on it, because they're protecting and they want their jobs. But regardless, what's your stance?
Yeah.
Here's the deal. If you haven't had a website, get a website. Typical time when speaking is usually 3 to 5 minutes, unless you're invited, and then you may ask for more. Get to the point. And I'm doing this as a piece of advice from the 3 elections that I ran. And I got to tell you, I learned a lot of things the hard way. Have a 30-second elevator speech. And be ready for, tell people what you want. Yes, on my website, before they talk about small modular reactors, I was already talking about it, knowing we needed more power here in Virginia. Not wind farms, not solar. I have solar in my house. It ain't saving me that much money.
No, it's not.
There you go, I agree with that.
But regardless, okay, but regardless, I want to get everybody to know, please do me a favor. We're going to, for people, get to the point, tell people what you're talking about, what you stand for, and then keep going. Do we have anybody else?
Nobody else from any campaigns, so now we can start talking about the redistricting plan, if everybody's ready. If any of the candidates or their representatives need to leave, we certainly understand, feel free. It's a busy time frame, and it's the hardest thing for any candidate to do is to get signatures, so we understand. And I'll be in touch with you about getting.
Yes, thank you. God bless everybody.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Oh, yeah. First one, Fed oil, and the price for property.
No good.
All right, guys, so let's get started on the redistricting plan. We've got a lot of updates. As Michelle mentioned, we did get an injunction yesterday where the courts in Caswell sided with our legal team that's fighting. As they said, at the RCB breakfast this morning, right, that if there's nobody to enforce the injunction, then it's still going to go through. So we gotta actually work like it's happening. We have flyers that are made up that have the dates. I had them ready to be prepared for today, but with the injunction, I was concerned about with the date, even the date on it, in case the date changed. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna release those once we get those out. I've got 2,500 flyers. So if you're interested in dropping flyers, passing them out around your friends, I've got a sign-up sheet up here for that. I also have ordered some some postcards that should be in within the next week. So if you're not really active or can't get out, but you don't mind paying for stamps for yourself, out of pocket, I know, I apologize. Then we'll provide a postcard and we'll give you some sample messages. So there's a sign-up list for that. If you're interested in going out and door knocking and talking to folks about the issue and how it's going to impact not just our state, but our area. I don't know if you've looked at the maps, but what they're basically doing is stretching northern Virginia all the way down into areas of all over the state. So this area, which has become a really strong voting line, is not going to have to stay anymore. It's going to be all northern Virginia. And Virginia is not total. Virginia is all over. So we want to maintain our voices as a region, and that's how you can appeal to your Democrat friends. If Northern Virginia has all the say in what's happening, what's going to go on down here? We need that focus here as well, especially with our military presence. So, you've got the door knocking, we've got postcards for that. We also are working with RPV. They have utilized Swipe Red, where everybody has a smartphone, especially right now, Android.
It's nowhere on the website though. They said it at the breakfast.
Yeah, that's incorrect.
I have that on my phone.
What I do is I'll get a hold of Orlando.
I have a link to where you can click on it through email, and it'll tell you step by step how you can go through and do it. So if you want to do Swipe Red, I'll get a sign-up sheet for that. Just give me your information. I'll also make sure that you get it. So it's really, really, really easy, but we're seeing that they're having some glitches with any Apple phone users.
Yeah.
Really? Android is working no problem.
Yeah.
Some people in here may have actually gotten a text from me already because I went in and I tried it out and I saw how easy it is to use. It is super simple. You basically go into your app, your Play Store on your phone, you type in Swipe Red, you download it, install it into your phone, on your phone, you sync your contact list, and then you go in, you select Virginia GSP as the campaign that you're looking for. It already has a prepared text for everybody to send. So once your contacts are in there, you can go and you can select individually your contacts, and it will send them the message from you, from your number. And it's individual text, so it's not like it's mass group text. And it's coming from your number, so somebody will be more apt to read it rather than some of these text messages that go out through these campaign methods that like that, like the Trump is like people like 8 or 2 or whatever. So, yeah, so it'll recognize you as the contact. Yes.
Do you have the sign or anything today to show them what's been the districts and what will be?
A map?
Yeah, the red
redistricting map?
or the red district, the one of the shows.
Yeah, the flyers will have that on there. I don't have it today. Is that the one we're talking about? Yes. Yeah, it's in, and we got another flyer that's gonna be made that has more like a scale, where it says 6'5", it's balanced, and then 10'1", it's unbalanced.
How we gonna get the people here today to know that, yeah, that's the one that they need to see.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Ray, what kind of ads are out there? Because when I'm like on.
Are you all familiar with this?
YouTube, every other commercial, what
This is what they want to do.
What we have to remember.
Yes.
Wow.
And communications
time.
on their side.
They knew they were gonna do this.
They knew that they were doing this, they had planned it, they've been waiting,
It's
they're
every other
going forward with it.
And then they're on.
That's what they're.
Right.
It's very deceptive.
It's very deceptive, which is why on our flyer and the wording on the ballot measure is very deceptive as well. It's a flat out lie, because it says that it's to create a fair map, which is not, and it's obvious. So on our flyer, we have the word, we have a big arrow that says vote no, vote no. Right. We show the differences between the ballot
Presence online.
Do you have any what?
Presence online. Because that's where you're going to.
Well, that's why we need for you all to go out and share on your messaging, on your social media pages. Share broadly, make sure that you're changing your audience to public, not private or not just friends. You really, we need our grassroots people to get going.
There it is. That's the first time we've heard that today. We went to the Virginia Beach.
We're so used to it because that's all we have in Norfolk is grassroots.
That's it. Let's go get it.
Yeah, that's all we have, so we really need the grassroots effort, and that's the conversations that you guys have with your friends. It's calling into radio shows or anything like that. If you want to write a letter to the editor, I can do a sign-up sheet for that, and I can give you a model for how you can write letters, letter campaigns. There's a lot of things that we can do individually that don't take up a lot of time or effort. So just, if you want to help, just sign up, let me know, and I'll get with you, and we will make sure that you have the tools that you need to feel comfortable doing. Okay? Yes, sir.
I don't want to, take up too much time, but I've been traveling throughout the state, so I've seen everybody's game plan. And I talk to people, I talk to voters, try to understand subjects that they care about. I think what we need to know as Republicans is to understand what the Democrats are doing to counter us. And majority of what we're doing right now is basically piggybacking off of what they're already doing, but we can't really counter them, we're just following them, right? So we need, I do strategies of various organizations to penetrate markets, and various conditions in those markets needs to be, tailored to what is happening, the pre-existing condition. You can't use the same roadmap that we've been using the last 35, 45 years to counter the Democrats.
Right.
I talk to people around the state, guys, and unfortunately, we're stuck on what they say, stuck and stupid, in a way.
Yes, and I'm gonna interrupt, because the reason why it's still so important for our region to make sure that we're engaged and we're voting and we're fighting this is because even if we're a blue city and we may not have a chance in, help of our city voting this way, our votes will impact the overall statewide election. So we need to make sure that we get our butts to vote. We have never had an April special election in the state of Virginia. So our people are already not going to be expecting to vote. But I can tell you from working in the polls, you put up that vote here today sign, and every Democrat that drives by and sees it will be, they'll like stop traffic, turn around, U-turn, brake all this, to get their car back in there. They have no idea what they're voting for.
Presence matters, so like helping on Tuesday, even if you don't know what matters for Virginia.
Exactly, so we need to be visible, we need to be shouting, our voices need to be heard. So anything that you guys can think of to do, let's do it, okay? We've got some yard signs here. If you're interested in the yard signs, please fill out the sheet, say that you took one, and take one. Be asked, please try to keep it one per house, because we have a very limited number. If you'd like to donate to our campaign to fight this, you can do that today. You can get a free gift of your choice from that table. Has everybody got raffle tickets for showing up today?
Yes.
All right. We'll get you one.
No. Ray, I found 5 people who had not signed just in attendance, that you were here, please. There's one more.
Right, if you haven't signed your attendance sheet, we ask that you I know there are candidates and the representatives going around tables, getting signatures, but if you can keep it down to this level issue.
Whistle again. Whistle again.
So here are the sign-up sheets, some other events that we've got going that we need help with as far as some materials for our campus. We've got a gun show coming up on March 7th and 8th. We also have the St. Patrick's Day Parade, which is the 14th. We'd like to have plenty of volunteers. That's a lot of fun. I know I ran into Michelle last year when she was having signatures, or I was a couple people getting signatures.
I have a question. Is there anyone that we're affiliated with in the Ocean View area and parade? Because I thought that that would be a good idea to put a vote no in the parade of somebody that's an existing. I know the deadline is passed, but still we pass some kind of report again. Yeah, somebody that we know does not have an existing float that we can.
Folks, there's a lady trying to talk, please.
So that would be great. I'll reach out to her today. So in addition to the petition signatures, we need anybody who has experience as an officer of elections to sign up, because we want experienced officers of elections in the polling places. We've got 48 precincts in Norfolk right now, and on election day, on April 21st, we want to make sure we have at least one Republican in every location. So, if you're able to work that day, please sign up and let us know. I'll give you information to register. They have a very short period of time to do training, because early voting starts on March 6th. So,
Is that the training down in Norfolk?
yes.
Okay.
And it's city training, so, yes. So we'll have a sign-up sheet for that. And, yes, and you don't have to live in Norfolk to be an officer of election in Norfolk. But you have to be a Republican. So, yes, Keith.
Yeah, I did that last year. Do I have to do a training?
The training, unfortunately, they make you go to every year.
Okay.
So, and like I said, the registered office has been really doing a great job trying to get everybody contacted. Because we will have early voting at City Hall starting on March 6th. Then on 9 days before the 21st, we'll have a satellite location, we'll only get enough Trello as a satellite location. So we'll be on.
Does everybody have a side conversation?
And that location.
Does everybody have a side conversation?
During those 9 days.
I'm gonna leave. Here.
Folks, I need you to keep it quiet,
Thank you.
please.
Are there any questions about what I've covered so far?
Yeah, I need you to repeat all the.
Yeah, the whole thing.
I'll help you.
Okay, I have, so good to the flyer, door to door. I have that old app.
Yes, you can use that. And a lot of folks, if you get our newsletter, you may have seen the anti-gerrymandering information that has gone out, the RTV set, where you can sign up to go and do door knocking and use, what's the platform
We
called?
got I-360.
Pulsar.
Okay, good. That's enough.
Pulsar.
Gentleman here had a question. Yes, sir.
Could you touch again on the the legal challenge to this, and I think I heard you say something. It's very difficult to hear you because of everybody rudely talking while you're trying to talk. But I didn't hear everything you had to say about the decision yesterday.
Yes.
Did you say Tazewell?
It was in the Tazewell court system, and it was the same judge that heard the case as before, but he said no and put the stop down, and then they appealed it, and the Democrats said no, we're moving forward. Then they went with a different reason to get an injunction. The judge agreed, said no, kicked it again to Virginia State Supreme Court. The Supreme Court had decided essentially to wait until the 23rd to hear the merits of the case, which obviously with the vote going on the 21st. Now, they're the same ones that drew the maps.
The Supreme Court has said they will wait until April 23rd.
That's what they said last week, when the initial decision came out. So they're the ones that approved the fair maps the last time, because the redistricting committee that part of our constitution, 67 population approved for the constitutional amendment just 5 years ago. They didn't agree on that, so it had to go to the Virginia Supreme Court. So they're the ones that approved the current fair maps. So they're,
Special master.
yeah. So then it goes to them, this whole redistricting nonsense, and they didn't want to make a decision on it. Essentially, they said, well, let the voters decide anything. Right? So they punted it and said, hold on the 23rd. Well, then our legal team and a couple of senators and congressmen got involved and said, no, we're gonna contest this. And one of the things that they were contesting is the language. We can't do anything about the language. Elect is the one, elect in the General Assembly did that language, and they put it through and they approved it. So there's nothing we can contest as far as that, but they took it before the court and said that's not fair language. It's misleading. So there were several things that they went legal for. And the judge, oh yeah, there's also the fact that according to our Constitution, there should be no voting on a special election within 90 days of the decision to go and have the vote. Well, early voting starts before that 90 days. Right. So there are localities in Virginia that have said they've gone to their board of directors or their city hall, and they've said, they've come back and said that they're not going to allow city to fund or to provide any type of facilities for early voting until it reaches the constitutional date. But it still just means that it's going to do it. They're still going to do it. We already know that the Democrats are going to force through whatever they make.
What is the makeup of the Virginia Supreme Court right now? Conservative versus liberal?
It's primarily conservative, but what folks don't know is that there are not lifetime appointments. They're appointed by the General Assembly. So they're likely to rely on pleasing the General Assembly. Yeah, the return, but at the same time. But if you want to do that, obviously not. It's a cake job, apparently.
They could be sitting there and say, okay, we'll let everyone vote. We're going to shut them down. We're going to show them that they're not the ones in control.
Right.
That might be the whole thing.
But no, where are we going? Let's get our votes out and
Yeah,
let's
if they're voting
vote
out,
this
that's
down. Because if we don't vote it down now, it's just a matter of time before they do it again. Right now, we're fighting because they didn't wait the appropriate number of elections to go through.
In essence, they're breaking the law.
Right. So they broke the law.
We're coming with the
They
applesauce.
broke the law in order to do
Oh, yeah,
that.
I'll bring that
So
to right
we're
here.
assuming that they're just gonna continue to break the law.
They put napkins on all the tables.
So unless we as a voting group go out and say, we don't approve of this, we don't fund it, and that means you've got to get this.
I'm gonna put this right here. Appreciate you so much.
We don't have the Republicans. Yes,
Are you familiar with the Jefferson Journal?
no.
I shared an article with them, I get it daily. They do a really good job. It's the Thomas Jefferson Institute, and they do a really good job of covering bills that are being proposed by the General Assembly. And they break everything down, and they make it easy for people to understand. And I got an email from them yesterday, and the article, the piece that he was writing about was what we're here to discuss today. That message, it puts it in terms that are really easy to understand. One of the good things they did was they juxtaposed the different states, because the Democrats' big argument here is to try to counter what's going on in Texas.
Right.
And so this does a really good job of juxtaposing the percentage of voters who voted for Kamala Harris in the general election versus what will happen if this gerrymandering, if this redistricting goes through, and how skewed the numbers are relative to how many people in the Commonwealth actually voted for Democrats in the general election. And it looks at all the different states, because Ohio, a couple other states that are proposing redistricting too. It puts everything in perspective in a way that's easy for people to look at numbers and understand how extreme this is, what's being proposed. And at that, I would encourage everybody in this room to read that article and to share it with as many people as you can, because that's the sort of thing, if you read it, you'll go, I gotta get out and vote.
What's the website?
It's called the Jefferson Journal. And a guy named Derek Max is the guy who's writing for it now. James Bacon started it years ago, but then he got too busy with his personal business.
Events at outlook.com. Yeah, Republican Party of Norfolk,
RPN.
Events.
Events.
Oh, here it is, right here. That's what happened.
Cheeseburger and then 2 turkey. I'm missing a ham. I have applesauce. Yep, 2 applesauce. Is one of these? I have no idea.
Great, that's exactly what I was hoping you would do.
And that's the other one, because I need a hamburger.
Thank you so much. That's great information. Another thing that I learned at the breakfast this morning that will impact the congressional district races, like it this Burlington, is that as many of you have realized, the districts are all changing, and District 2 has changed twice. So how are our candidates supposed to know if they are able to run for re-election, or who's going to be eligible to run for what district? It's a cluster right now, you know? And so I had asked about the petitions process, because again, that's the hardest part for every candidate. In our congressional districts, candidates have to get 1,000 signatures by April 2nd in order to make the ballot. So if they don't even know what their district is going to be until April 21st, how are they supposed to get their signatures? So I verified with Jeff Breyer this morning at the breakfast, and Jeff Breyer is the chair of RTP. And he said that they are going to reopen the signature period for the congressional district candidates. Not for the second candidate, because they're still going to have to have a second, but for the congressional districts, they'll reopen after. So that gives our congressional candidates a little bit more time. But here's the other problem. The primary has been pushed to August 2nd. So, our candidate for Senate, our candidate for Congress, we're not gonna know who it is until August 2nd, August 3rd, heck, with Norfolk. And some of you later counting these votes, it could be a week afterwards before we know who our actual candidate is. And November 4th is still election before November 5th. So that first week of Tuesday, first weekend in November is still election day, and early voting will still start in September. So whoever our winning candidates are going to have basically a month to campaign throughout the entire state in order for any chance to win. November 3rd. Okay, thank you, November 3rd. So, August 2nd, primary, November 3rd, election day. Early voting starts 45 days before November 3rd. Which puts you in September 20th. Not good. Not good. And yet they've already got everything. In fact, Dan Elmer, who has run for Congress twice and has lost twice, he was involved in drawing the maps for the new maps, and he drew his district right through his neighborhood. So he could win this time. Who was this? Dan Helmer. So, that's these are the types of things that we're really facing. It's like they're all against saying Trump, but meanwhile, in the background, they're the ones lying and cheating and lying. So, I know. So, it's really, really important that we are active, that we're on the ground, that we're working in every way, shape, and form we can to get our voices out and to get people on our side and understanding the economic impacts, the overall impacts, not just to the entire state. And that's where we need to be. So thank you all so much for being here today. And I have sign-up sheets up here. Again, if you came in November, feel free to take a gift. Patriotic or Republican Party in Norfolk, please do. If you make a donation, feel free to take one of those items. And I will go ahead and draw a name for your prize right now. Okay. Again, does everybody have a ticket? Michelle, Natasha, anyone? I got it.
So that's why.
All right, it looks like everybody's gotten their plates, started eating while she's still getting the raffle thing together. Let me remind you, this Thursday is the fourth Thursday of the month. Every fourth Thursday of the month, we have our city meeting at Dollars for Christ, D-O-L-U-S, it's off of Elmhurst. I'm sorry. So if you know where Sewell's Point Road is in Elmhurst, I want to invite all of you to the city party. It's a nice facility, nice folks. The pastor there is a very pro-Republican, very conservative man.
Is this on your website?
And I usually update our Facebook page.
Okay, thank you.
But I invite all of you to be here for that as well. Folks,
John, what's the date?
every fourth Thursday of the month, we have our city meeting. So if you can make it, we encourage you to make it.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Plenty of parking, no problem there.
All right, so.
And by the way, every third Saturday of the month, we meet here for our luncheons. So we got that through the rest of the year, guaranteed. And we also have our meeting place on Thursday. Folks, it doesn't mean we don't have more meetings, but at least we're trying to keep everybody involved. The closer we get to these crises, we need to stick together as a family, as a team, and we've got to keep talking to people. Don't be shy, don't be afraid.
And since we're not meeting the first 2 weeks of the month, we're working to do like committee meetings or maybe like a happy hour type event as well, so that we can still stay in touch and communicate and, socialize and more importantly, get out to businesses that support us. Because we want to go to businesses that support our conservative values. So, all right, would you like to draw a name?
What numbers, Margaret?
Yeah, I'll take it. Okay.
All right, here we go. I'll give you the last 4 numbers.
No, there's no name on it?
Oh, here we go.
Mike Young.
Mike Young. Mike Young must have the same one.
To piggyback what Ray just said, if you know we're stronger as a force, right, John?
Absolutely.
So if you know any businesses or any resources that we can help each other, please let Ray know, because we're also trying to grow Young Republicans,
Yes.
200 members. And it's all to you out here too. So we're looking for thinking smarter, not harder, right? Fiscally conservative, combine resources to where we can build momentum. We want more young people to help volunteer as well. And they're amazing young people starting businesses. You guys, it's really incredible when we're encouraging each other. And we're joining forces, okay? So if you know of any type of resources or anything, please let Ray know, okay? So we can have more functions. We can go far and wide.
Also, please pay your bills. Now, I'll come back tomorrow morning, have breakfast, and I usually have to pay for people who decide to skip out. Please pay your bills.
How do we do that?
Right here at the front, right there. Yes, enjoy your meals. Adjourn, unless anybody's got anything else they want to bring up. Where's your meeting?
Yeah, where is it?
I just work.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Well, I probably not have ever.
Specific areas or specific houses that are publicly legal, let me know and I can get you a walk to hit those places.
Yeah, that's
That's something I would vote
I want to stay close. That's the patriot side of them, and they don't know the history.
For all these base who would otherwise not care about it or not even know it. Yeah. Thank you. We all have an incentive. The agenda's Yeah.
Like I said, Not just
has a following, right? So it resonates with people.
So it's like, don't miss out.
It's nice to have you here. Thank you very
No, what I in the box. You got it, Craig? I was gonna get it. You got it? Huh? Not for you. You got Mike's box, right? Okay. No, Mike needed a box. He wants an empty box. Is that big enough? It is.
I will. I have your Do you ever come to the place? I hear you, but you come down every once in a while. Here's my,
Second time? And just look at the difference from the first, because it's not exactly.
Make sure you check the
So based on remarks like that, we're giving this out there, because I think it's 6 more. Okay, so you know what you're telling
They didn't say that.
I can't, but I'm just saying, you're is what I'm saying. Boundary, I mean, that's one of them that was giving out money. And he could actually go on the day, take the people's ID. take their ID, he had some way to go in and see that they were a registered voter. And then he would give the, and I did see.
Really?
Yeah, they were bonding. It was at the Dollar Tree office. Oh, that was surprising. But what surprised me is he took his
They were so well behaved. When people were speaking, I was like, so what's for
Rainier.
How are you?
I'm a history teacher. My ex, like Catherine the Great, Russian name. Rainier,
So, yeah, I was thinking all the numbers come out of. Long gas, a lot of What about, oh, I thought I could just direct it up Bank Street. Right. Wow. That's his theme, economics related.
So, you're not purchasing power of regular business, you guys can, you know.
It's good to see you.
So that our citizens. Oh, yeah. Okay. Will actually be able to buy what they need for groceries. Pay their mortgage. Have a good life. Okay, this is the size of my home. Right here. So all of the crap that's only right now.
Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll look at it. And they hate you. Oh my God. Okay, all right.
See, the problem.
Normal.
Great, great.
I can't figure out how it works. You know, Hashmi is, he's got
Everybody else.
That's it right there. I'm sorry.
I think you just, this is all the candidates.
What'd you
I mean, you can take that one if you want.
They won so many competitions last year. Well, there's last year too. I think they should be.
It's okay, I'll see you at the next meeting. I don't know yet. Because I got kids, I got me, the whole thing, I was like, God, you're doing
Two more.
Well, let me tell you.
That's what I'm telling you, there's a lot of instances in place, you're gonna elect for your system, and no one's really digging for it, because. I mean, there's, they don't get some passing their goal in order to reduce some for Spanberg. How could they solve when they're not even legal citizens? They're not even, forced to vote.
Wow. Wow. That's scary.
Now that you're.
Nobody's talking about that because that's the reason I'm.
Oh, I'm going.
My podcast, we have offices. No, it's not offices. If you look at the market, there's 8 million.
I used to play growing up.
And then you look at the lower registered.
Registered voter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, all these 3 million of them are